Okay, everyone, I'm just about to get started here. I apologize for the late start, and just trying to review a little bit about Google Meet so that you know, I've not used it before as a presenter, so just wanted to make sure that I am okay with that. Just okay. Welcome, Lilith. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. 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 I think we're about ready now. Okay. I can work with that. One more thing and then we're ready to rock and roll. Good. Okay, wow. Welcome everyone. It's good to have you joining me. I just want to make sure that everyone is hearing. Let me just check what my audio setting is. Um, Speaker will be that. And okay. All right. So, good evening, everyone. I need to just do a quick audio check before I get started. So, those who are on Google Meets, I'm going to ask that you just quickly just say hello or something, and let me see if I'm getting your audio and if you're getting mine. So, if you're hearing me okay, please indicate on Google Meets. Can you all hear me? And Lilith, Auntie Garnetta. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. I'm not hearing anything from my people on Google Meets, but let me just make sure if you can hear me okay on YouTube. I'm going to ask that you just quickly indicate by just making a comment in the chat. So, can you hear me fine? I'll wait for some responses on YouTube. All right, great. Thank you so much. Are you guys hearing me on Google? Let me see if I can open a chat box. All right, so I'm not sure if they are not able to hear me. I'm seeing that they're online, but I'm not. So I'm just going to have to go with what I have. Um, Alrighty, here we go. So good evening, everyone, and wow, after a very late start, but teething pains, I suppose, and it is really good to be here with you. Another patient health workshop, and so what we will do today is try to figure out um, different nuances of healthcare so that we can make wise choices for ourselves and our families. And I'm going to share this information with you as we go along. So, first and foremost, I'm going to bring up the slideshow. So, voila. This is the slideshow. And I hope that it is going to be a time that is meaningful for everyone. Now, if you have any questions for me, I'm going to encourage you to feel free and to ask them. I'm going to invite somebody else, if anyone else can just um, join us on Google Meets, so you can just confirm with me that you can hear me okay, because I'm not sure if those who are on are hearing me. And then if you're not hearing, then you just come back over here and let me know. So I've pinned the link to Google Meets. Now today's discussion is going to be a very, I feel it's going to be an interesting one. You have the freedom to ask questions. You have the freedom to make comments. And so I encourage you to do so as we go through. So this looks good, I think. All right. So, shall we go? So, the topic this evening is the 7 keys to getting and staying well. The 7 keys to getting and staying well. And it's the importance of this topic is that we have the ability to understand a little bit more about the healthcare system so that we can make wise choices. It is my hope indeed that once you hear the presentation, you make better choices as it pertains to your health. So, as we begin, do you have any concerns as it relates to the current model of the healthcare system? Probably any limitations that you might see, and probably that might help guide the discussion a little bit. So, do you have any concerns regarding the healthcare system? Are there any things that you've identified or observed or experienced that you wish were done a little bit differently? And so we can get started with that. So, just go right ahead and just write it in the comment section, and I will try my best to answer them. Still waiting for a reply. Any thoughts? Any limitations? Anything great about the system that you would love to comment on? Because there are actually very good things about the system as well. So we're not just looking at bad things. There are also good things about the system, but there are limitations, and that's what we want to kind of launch off into. So as we look into it, right, as you are contemplating your answers, to understand or appreciate the healthcare system, we need to make sure that we do not seek out the services of this system for something that the system is not designed to offer us. Because if we do that, we're setting ourselves up for frustrations, and we're setting ourselves up to be angry, possibly even at the poor healthcare workers as they're trying to assist us. So it's important that we know what the system offers, so that when we are approaching the system, we're doing so from a place of knowing what the benefits will be of approaching that system. So here we go. There are two primary goals or two objectives of the current healthcare system, and these are they. And this is not my saying, this is from their own saying from the AMA, the American Medical Association. So, the first goal of the system is one, to ease suffering. And what you find is that there are many people who are suffering from time to time with many different issues. This suffering causes them either physical, emotional, or psychological anguish. And if we're going to help the person, then we have to find a way of easing that suffering. So some of the recommendations that are made with that in mind. It's made with the intention that if you do these things, your suffering will reduce. So that's the first goal or objective of the healthcare system as it exists today. The second one is, how can we save lives? So easing suffering is the first, saving lives is the second. And so you will find, especially as it relates to trauma or terminal illnesses, that this system is actually really concerned about keeping people alive. And not at all costs, but at all reasonable costs. And so you find that persons who are not well, persons who are probably in a terrible fall and sustain significant injuries, may find themselves needing to go to the healthcare system to hopefully extract from that system some life-saving measure. And so you find that this is what we see. And so the system is not necessarily a bad system. The problem now comes in when we seek to go after the system for things that the system is not designed for. And for example, which most people are not aware of, the system is not designed to optimize people's health. That's not what the system is designed for. That's not even what the practitioners go to school to learn. They don't learn methods to optimize person's health. They learn methods to save people's lives, to ease people's suffering. And so, and I hope that it doesn't come across as a negative the way I've put it. But if you think about it, it makes sense. Because you will realize, if you do not already know, medical schools don't teach a whole lot on nutrition. They don't teach a whole lot on lifestyle modification. They teach a lot on toxicology, pharmacology, pathology, diseases, anatomy, and those things to help the practitioner be able to save a life. But once that life is saved, they're not going to be able to now guide you to optimizing your health. What they can try to guide you towards is restoring function. And this is where the different therapists will come in. Your physiotherapists, your occupational therapists. They will help you to restore your function so you can get back to work or get back to school or get back to the playing field or what have you. But as it is for us, optimizing health and saving lives are two very different things. And we have to understand that if we hope to move forward with this system. And so the system of that we call the healthcare system, traditionally, hospitals, clinics, doctors' offices, are part of a system that we call the sick care system, or it's based on a sick care model because it's caring for the sick. And so you'll find that all the desires, all the practices are centered around caring for the sick. But the problem with a sick care model is that somebody has to be sick first, which means that something has to go wrong, and after the thing has gone wrong, then the person will be put in a position to try to undo or mitigate the thing that has already gone wrong. So what we say about this system is that, and if you're making notes, you can write, that sick care is reactive, meaning that something has to go wrong first. If you want to achieve optimal health, then a wellness approach needs to be taken, and true healthcare is what you will seek after. But the difference between the two is that true healthcare is proactive. And by proactive, we mean you have to do things in anticipation of something going wrong before it actually goes wrong, so as to prevent it from going wrong in the first place. And that is preferred, actually, if your goal is optimizing health. So we are living in a situation where there's a crisis as it relates to the healthcare model, the sick care model. And the crisis is we're having all of the top, I shouldn't say all, but the majority of the top killers in any country, even in this country, still remains lifestyle diseases. You'll also hear the terms NCDs, or non-communicable diseases. A non-communicable disease is a disease that you cannot communicate with another person directly, meaning that it's not something that they catch by being around you. Infectious disease is communicable because you can share that with other people in terms of being around you. You can catch an infection. But the question is, can you not really, is it not possible for you to catch diabetes or catch hypertension or catch obesity? Is there a way that this is possible? Can we catch these things? In fact, when you see obese people, Generally speaking, when you look at their families, they're not the only ones in their families that have obesity. Now, it's interesting though that many are the only ones in their families that have this issue. But the main reason for obesity, yes, a very common one, is illnesses that will lead to it. For example, thyroid issues can lead to obesity. Medication use, for example, certain steroid use can lead to obesity. But the number one cause of obesity is lifestyle choices. And where do we learn our lifestyle habits from? Who do we learn our lifestyle habits from? We learn our lifestyle habits from those in our environments. So it is indeed true that people in our environments do communicate to us habits or practices that can lead us into developing a disease that's lifestyle derived. And so is it really true that these are non-communicable diseases? I put it to you that no, it's not true. These are communicable diseases, but it's just that you don't really catch it. You develop it over time as a result of bad habits or practices that you pick up from each other. So I hope that makes sense. But there's a way of thinking if you want to improve somebody's chance of restoration of health. There's a way that people have to think, and the primary way to think is thinking according to the wellness model, not according to the illness model. And so there are two ways of addressing your mindset. You have the illness care way of thinking, and you have the wellness care way of thinking. The illness care way of thinking is the one that leads us down the path of sick care. The wellness way of thinking is the one that leads us down the path of optimizing health. And so, in the case of the illness care way of thinking, we learn this by our health providers. We learn this by our ads we see on TV and so on by the drug companies. So they say something like this: if you're having a headache, then such and such drug is maybe right for you. Speak to your doctor about taking this so that you can be free of your headaches. And then they will list off a bunch of side effects and away you go. But as we deal with this, the idea of just taking something to ease your suffering is really just a matter of, I have pain, what can I take to feel better? So our goal in the illness care way of thinking is just simply, what can I do to feel better? Whereas the wellness way of thinking has to go a step beyond that. And in accordance to that, it doesn't just ask, what do I need to do to feel better? It asks instead, what do I need to do in order to get better? Because you can feel better while maintaining your state of ill health. You can feel better while maintaining your state of ill health. And I don't know if persons realize that this is true. As we continue now, how about this one? What can I do in order to get well? Have you ever heard that one? Getting well, get well soon. Now, this whole notion of getting well is one where persons, they may go to a hospital, they may go to a clinic, and they may take a balloon or a card with them, and the card will oftentimes read, "Get well soon." But the problem with the notion of getting well is that it's just a wish, it's just a hope. There's nothing tangible to it, and there's certainly no action steps that the person who is not well needs to take in order to achieve this. you're simply hoping that they will be restored to good health. So good health, getting well is just a, I don't want to say a pipe dream, but it's just a wish. What would be better or make it more tangible is if you ask a slightly different question. Instead of asking what can I take or do in order to get well, you ask what must I do in order to stay well. And the difference between the two is this. The notion of staying well within the wording already suggests to the hearer that there is something that they have to do. And not just do, but do ongoingly in order to maintain themselves in that state. And this is so very important. So staying well is way more valuable than simply just getting well. How about this? Staying alive. Now, there are many people who are, for whatever reason, they have challenges with maintaining their lives. Some people die very early because of illness. Some people die very early because of trauma. But either way you look at it, we have less control over how long we live and more control over the quality of lives that we lead. And this is the important thing. So rather than simply having as our goal staying alive, which we don't really have as much control over, because you can be as healthy as a horse and still get hit down by a car, struck by lightning, someone assaults you, and in the assault you may end up dying. Staying alive is not about you all the time. Sometimes you have nothing to do with it. It's just something that happens to you. So rather than simply saying, what can I do to stay alive? You ask, what can I do to feel alive? Because feeling alive means that you're having good quality of life. And the better your quality of life is, the better able you are to experience that fullness. And that's what we want. It's the quality of life that matters. So as we look at our options here on this screen, what we will see is the different alternatives are as follows. The illness model of thinking simply says, feel better, get well, stay alive. The wellness way of thinking is get better, stay well, feel alive. And it's just a subtle shift from feel, get, stay to get, stay, feel. And that subtle shift sometimes is all that you will need to do in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve with being alive. With the best quality, of course. Now, the next key is the truth about pain. Now, is pain a good thing or a bad thing? Feel free to chime in. Is pain a good thing or a bad thing? If you think it's a good thing, let us know. If you think it's a bad thing, let us know. Is pain a good thing or a bad thing? Now, I'm not seeing many comments, but certainly there are some persons who may think that it's good and others that may think that it's bad. Now, whether good or bad, we have to agree that there is a purpose to pain. And as you can see on the screen, pain alerts us that something has changed and requires our attention. So we use pain as some kind of a signal to us that something is not right. However, there are limitations to pain. There are problems with pain. And one of the problems with pain is that you cannot trust pain to always tell you when something is wrong. There are some times that something has gone wrong, but the pain warning is not there. For example, cancer. There are many cancers that exist where pain is not a feature in the early stages. Pain may happen way later on, but it's not a feature in the early stages. And yes, Brianna, I see that pain can be a little bit of both, and that is certainly true. But you know what's interesting, Brianna, is that when you look at the whole pain issue, some people say the problem with pain is that it hurts or it's uncomfortable or it interferes. But that's precisely why pain works. It works because it's uncomfortable. Because it's uncomfortable, even those who are lazy will oftentimes be driven to action because of the discomfort that they're experiencing. And so that's actually a good thing. That's actually a good thing. Some of the things that we will call bad. I've actually heard old people say, especially women, that the good thing about pain is that when you have it, you know that you're not dead. Now, if that's the way I will know that I'm not dead, I don't know if that's what I want. But yes, that's very good. Now, good health does not mean that you're feeling good, or feeling good does not mean you have good health. It's important to recognize that if you have good health, that means your body is working the way it was designed to work. It's functioning properly. So good health should better be equated to healthy function rather than being equated to how you feel. Because you can feel great and be deathly ill. In fact, most people who have any issues, they came about after the person was feeling well for a while. And then by the time they're not feeling so well and they check, they already have an illness that's been in their system for a long time. So that's not ideal. So we need to start trusting how our bodies are working, trust our function, not our feeling. So as we are looking at the whole issue of the systems of the body, we will see that the body is made up of many different systems. One is the immune system, another is the nervous system, the digestive system, cardiovascular system, integumentary system, which is the system that's responsible for all the coverings of our body, including coverings of muscles, and organs, and our skin. Respiratory system, endocrine, reproductive, excretory, and the musculoskeletal system. These are all systems of the body that are very important systems. Now, it is important to recognize, however, as important as these systems are, there is one system that's supreme or reigns supreme over all the others. So every system has to at least communicate with one other system. There is no system that stands alone and functions alone. All the systems have to interact with the other systems. But there's one system that excels when it comes to that, and that is the nervous system. And because of that, the nervous system is considered to be the master control system of the body. The nervous system is the master control system of the body. Now, when you look at the nervous system, it's comprised of the brain at the top and the spinal cord in the middle that makes up your central nervous system. And then the nerves that leave your brain and leave your spine make up the peripheral nervous system. So the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The nervous system is integral to our health. Integral to our health. Now, as the nerves exit the spine, they have to go through or go between bones of the spine. Now, because the bones are so tough and the nerves are so delicate, when it goes between the bones of the spine, if there's something that affects the spine in any way, that may cause the bones to shift out of its normal location to come to bear pressure on the nerve, then the nerve function will be impacted. In fact, this is the primary way that people have nerve issues, and that is because something has shifted or changed the function of the spine relative to the nerves, resulting in an issue with the person's function. So when a bone is moved out of place, a subluxation, a misalignment of the spine is given a special name. That name is called a vertebral subluxation. And a subluxation will be the thing that causes the nerves to dysfunction when you have a problem in your spine. For example, when you look at this diagram, the third bone from the top, the middle bone, is actually displaced backwards, and you can see as it is displaced backwards, it also compresses the opening where the nerves come through. And because it compresses the openings where the nerve come through, if a nerve is in the space where you're closing off because the bone is shifted out of place, then that nerve and whatever it controls will now be compromised. If that nerve goes to your stomach, then your stomach won't operate properly. If that nerve goes to your digestive system, it may not operate properly. If it goes to your reproductive organs, it may not operate properly. So these nerves control different functions. If you affect a nerve or impact a nerve, it will impact the function of the nerve. I hope that makes some sense. So there are different stresses that occur in life. They can be categorized in one of three ways. One is by way of the physical, two, the biochemical, and three, the psychological. The physical stressor are things like car accidents, falls, things of that nature. The biochemical stressor are things that we, like lotions or perfumes or chemicals that we put into our bodies or onto our skin that can be absorbed into our bodies, so we have to be careful. And the psychological stressors, for example, a stressful work environment, that kind of a thing. These are things that cause issues to occur. And one thing I want persons to recognize is this. Our nervous system is the way causes us to see the world a particular way. Our nervous system is the tool or the vehicle through which we experience our lives. And so if it is that we want to improve our nervous system function, we have to improve our ability to keep that system healthy. Because the healthier the nervous system is, the better it's able to adapt to our environmental stresses. I'm going to skip over this one here real quickly. Sorry. It's a nice slide, but time is against us. So how does chiropractic work? Chiropractic works, and I hasten to say that chiropractic by itself doesn't fix everyone. You need to do other things as well to keep yourselves or to restore yourselves to good health. So, as we're looking at it, if you're having chiropractic care and you're not eating properly, how are you going to be healthy? If you're not sleeping properly, how are you going to be healthy? If you're not doing the things necessary to optimize your health, you will not be optimally well. So in order to have good wellness, you have to do other than just chiropractic, but chiropractic can be a valuable tool to achieving optimal health. Now, the healthier our nervous system becomes is the wider our gap will be. That is our general adaptive potential, the ability to cope with our environment. Chiropractic improves nervous system function, so by extension it widens our gap. The healthier we are, the better we are able to cope with this. Now we have technology that helps us to be able to identify these things wherever and whenever they happen. We call it the Insight Subluxation Station. It is the two devices that measure the spinal function are the Surface Electromyography Panel, SEMG, and the other one here on the left represents the Rolling Thermal Scan. The rolling thermal scan measures the temperature of the skin on either side of the spine so that they can be fit for comparison. Now, what kind of doctor is a chiropractor? Just so that people understand when they ask. So this is a study that was done to evaluate the effectiveness of the adjustment. Because if this chiropractic adjustment does what it is supposed to do or claims to do, then there has to be some evidence of it impacting the nervous system if it's going to help the nervous system. You see what I'm saying? So we already said that chiropractic care can improve nervous system function. Is there anything that has been used to test this? And the answer is yes. So this is the study, one study that was done. A young lady was asked to wiggle her left ankle, and she was asked to do so before she was adjusted and after she was adjusted. Prior to the adjustment, she was able to wiggle her ankle, but when you looked at her brain through a functional MRI unit, you see that there are multiple areas of light all over her brain. The areas of light represent areas of brain activity, which should not be that much for that simple task. She was given a chiropractic adjustment to her neck, asked to do the task again, and this time what we saw was areas of light in just a few spots. So the adjustment, what it did for this lady, is not that yes, it made her brain work better, but the way it made her brain work better is not by fixing the brain. What it actually does, it allows the brain to see the body better. So if the brain can see the body better or communicate more efficiently with the body, then any task that the brain is asking the body to execute will be better. And this is kind of the way it works. So, I'm a chiropractic neurologist. You may have heard that expression as it relates to me. A chiropractic neurologist is a person who has a specialization in neurology as a chiropractor. But the way that we have our neurology specialization is different from a medical doctor's way, because in their way, their primary focus is on realigning the spine and so forth. In the case of a chiropractic neurologist, what we're trying to do is not just realign the spine, we're trying to restore brain function. So we're trying to retrain the brain itself. So realigning the spine is important, yes, but retraining the brain is critical. And we can't get to optimal health when somebody's brain is not working properly. Now, these are some of the examples of conditions that I have treated as a chiropractic neurologist. And so if you go through them, developmental delays, learning challenges, neurodevelopmental or neurobehavioral disorders, neurodeficits, balance or movement disorders, brain injuries. These are all conditions that I have worked with and seen improvements in function for every single one of them, but not all the time, because sometimes somebody comes and we've not been able to make a meaningful change for that person. But there are many who have come for whom we have made a significant improvement. So that's important to point out. Now, we have three visions at Gardner Chiropractic and Neurology Limited. The first is to identify subluxations wherever and whenever they happen, and we use our technology to assist us to do so. Two, we provide a program of chiropractic care. Now, this program is usually 12 treatments long, but how we effect the 12 treatments depends on the individual and how serious their situation is. I almost never do anything beyond 3 times a week or up to 3 times a week in terms of plan. Usually it's 2 times a week or less is where we start. And we will do this for 6 sessions, or 6 weeks rather, if it's twice a week, or we do it for 12 weeks if it's once a week, or some combination of the two. We want to be able to educate our community so that they can be healthier, make wiser choices, and this is a part of what we do to achieve that, this type of presentation. So, who's responsible for health and well-being? So to sum it all up, having surveyed the land, what we have found is the key to success in getting and staying well is for us to take responsibility for our health and well-being. If we fail to do that, we are going to be in trouble. We have to take responsibility for our health and well-being. There are, on our website, in our YouTube channel, we have a lot of testimonials there. So please feel free to watch them. And we have a very special offer to you. The special offer is this. If you have participated in this class tonight, and all you have to do is just 2 things you have to do to avail yourselves of this special offer. One, makes it all the more difficult for us to know that you indeed were a part of the class. So your name has to be written in the chat, so stop now and write your name in the chat just to say good evening or what have you, so that we know that you're here. Second thing is you have to send a message to our team. There are 2 ways that you can send a message to our team. The first way is by send an email to appointments@gcnjamaica.com, or you can send a WhatsApp Thank you, Pansy. Or you can send a WhatsApp to 876, and this is a landline, so, and yes, you can send WhatsApp to a landline. We get it on our computers. All right? You can send it to 978-1050. That's 876-978-1050. And make sure your name appears in the WhatsApp message. So you either send it to us via the appointments email or via the 876-978-1050, which is our business WhatsApp line, our office WhatsApp line. You can always send us a message that way. If you want to confirm an appointment, if you want to request an appointment, if you want to request a callback, anything that you want to do where you want to interact with the office, especially if it's outside of office hours, you're welcome to just send us a WhatsApp that way. And sometimes I even check it in the evenings when office is closed. So that's going to be a plus for you. That's going to be a plus for you. So that's for that. So what's the offer? The offer is for anyone who makes an appointment tonight or desires to make an appointment tonight, you have to write your name in the chat. That's the first thing. Second thing, you send a WhatsApp to say you participated. And what will you receive? You will receive a 40% discount, 40% discount off the new patient exam if you're not currently a new patient, if you're not currently a patient. So you get a 40% discount if you're not already a patient. And no, we did not forget our regular clients and so on. If you have been a patient of ours, but yet not have completed the exam, or, sorry, this, yes, the exam, then what you can do is you can send us, once you've sent us your information to confirm that you've been in this class, you will get more than what the new patient will get. So these are the things that you will receive. A 20% discount off your update examination. A referral discount of 20% for off one treatment per person that is referred. Now, this is not a person that's referred to the class. Anyone that, when we ask them how they heard about us when they make their appointments, and they say, Tom Brown, who's a patient of yours, told me I needed to come or suggested that I come, then Tom Jones will get that 20% discount off his next treatment, which will be documented and put on his ledger. And the person who got the referral from Tom Jones will get a 20% discount off their new patient exam. And what I've realized is this. I reward with that 20% because persons who are referred typically make better patients than persons who just come by themselves. So we incentivize that. Persons who come to us via this presentation typically are better quality patients. They typically make wiser choices and they're typically better and more responsible. So I incentivize it with the 40% discount for them. But not only are those two 20% discounts offered, there's also a further 10% discount off the entire next phase of care should they desire it. So if they're doing treatment and they have a period of care left to do, then they will get a 10% discount off that entire phase, which we already know is 12 sessions long. That one 10% discount is more dollars saved for that individual than the dollars saved in the 40% discount of the new patient examination. So I hope that makes sense. So here we are. What we're going to do is just share with you ways that you can come by meeting up with us. So the way you can communicate with us or see what we're up to is by using any of the following means. Our website is gcnjamaica.com. Our Facebook page, you just type in GCN Jamaica, it takes you to our Facebook channel. When you look, if you go on Facebook and just go into the search, GCN Jamaica takes you right to us. Please subscribe to our channel so that our numbers will grow. So that in the future, if I ever decide to monetize this thing and try to earn a little income. And what I will do is this. If ever I get to monetize what I do here, and I'm making this announcement here online, right? And I've not spoken to my directors about it. This is what I will do. Monies that come in from social media as a consequence of us monetizing will go toward, I'm saying almost entirely toward, providing a foundation for people who do not have the means to afford care. So that way, if somebody cannot afford care, then we will give their names to whoever is going to be managing that process. And that group will sit down, go through the merits of the case, and provide financial support or assistance for that individual or those individuals who are not able to afford care. So that way, we have a way to get people to be treated without it being a financial burden to them and without the office standing the possibility of being less healthy because of bad business decisions, which is like giving away service is a bad business decision. But we can pay for the service using another means. And that would be good for the company. So that might be that's something that just occurred to me. I never thought of it before, but that's something that I'm thinking that I will do. I'm thinking that that's something that I will do. All right. Next thing is you can see us also on YouTube. If you're watching us now on YouTube, that means you have access to our channel. Just click on the channel icon or logo, and the channel will present itself. Or you can simply type in Gardner Chiropractic and it will take you to my channel, and then you can benefit now by watching any other videos that we have posted. I put so many of these up there, and they're all a little different. If you watch another one, it's still a little different from this one, but I'm gonna do other content for it. I think that's a good idea. And the last thing is we have a radio program on the national airwaves in Jamaica, and we stream it live on Facebook. Maybe at some point we'll stream it on YouTube as well. It depends on how we do, but we currently stream it live on Facebook. So you can watch it by going to Back to Health Talk Show on Facebook. Just type into the search area, Back to Health Talk Show. You will see the hundreds of videos that we've already posted for the hundreds of shows that we've already done. Yeah, hundreds. At least a couple hundred, well. And so you can watch those and see if those are of any interest to you. And if they are, you can watch them. If you like them, like them. If not, then, move on. Don't cuss too much. But if you have any comments that you'd like to make on any video, you can always make them. But this is all I have for you tonight. Gosh, it has been a good night. It has been a good night. And it is my hope that you've learned a lot. It is my hope that you've learned a lot and that you will make use of these resources because they're beneficial. Share them with friends. Share it with others. Make sure that they are seeing too what can be done and how you can make wise choices for your health. And I do hope that you take this matter seriously as I do. And I don't get paid to do this. And most of you are already patients of mine anyhow. So it's not like this is going to give me any kickbacks. You know what I mean? I do this because I care about the health of our people and I want persons to make better choices. I'm tired of sick people and I want people to be healthier. So I do what I can do. But nonetheless, you take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful night. It was a pleasure. And I'll just ask one time. So if there's any burning questions that anyone has, they can just simply ask the question. And I'll check the comment. If I see the answer, if I see a question coming through, I will answer it. But I won't be staying on long. I'm going to be just staying on for a couple minutes or 1 minute so that I can answer any questions that are probably coming up right now. And thank you so much for participating. I hope you enjoyed what we had to share and I hope you learned a lot. So thank you. Thank you, Auntie Garnetto. I will indeed get some rest. I do need it. I don't know if you've been seeing my eyes drooping at times. But thank you for being there for us and for encouraging me here. Thank you. Thank you, Ilian. And good night, DeAndre. Thank you very much, Chad. Remember, guys, send the WhatsApp to 978-1050. That's 876-978-1050. That's the way to send the office a WhatsApp. And a couple of us here monitor that WhatsApp throughout the day as well as after business hours. So if you have a question or a comment, feel free to shoot us at WhatsApp to that number. Most of the times we can't answer a video call or a audio call. So just send a written out message, and please no voice notes. Voice notes can't always be played privately. So just send a typed thing via WhatsApp, and that would be great. All right. Thank you, everyone. Do have a wonderful night. Take great care of yourselves.